Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another video. Another paid request, this time for Joseph. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, lists, rankings, commentaries, reviews, re-reviews, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, this is Joseph wanted me to give a list of the top 10 worst Steven Seagal films. And man, that is a tall order. Because I'm thinking, God damn, can I remember this? It's kind of funny throughout the years, it feels as if Steven Seagal has become like my arch enemy on this channel. But people love me talking about it, and I love bitching about him. Because again, he's one of those action stars I grew up with and enjoys early films. I enjoy his early career a lot. And the biggest downfall of any action hero to me has been Steven Seagal. In terms of personally, in terms of professionally, in terms of his just filmmaking, his career. I love Out for Justice. I love Above the Law. I love Marked for Death. I love this stuff. And then you see the shit he's done in the past 20 years. So let me try. Number one, his worst film to me is Attack Force. That's a film that was supposed to be about aliens, and then they changed it, and it was about this government testing, and they made people superhuman, but yet there were people, their eyes changed. Like, remember in Men in Black when the eye pupils, when Will Smith got the guy and his eye pupils changed, like, because he was an alien. Same bit of business happens here, but no, they're not aliens anymore. A good chunk of Steven Seagal's dialogue is dubbed by another person. Absolutely terrible editing. Incredibly tepid, god-awful fight sequences. There's literally a bit where Seagal's fighting the villain, and Seagal's like this, ready to play fucking hissy sissy slap fight. By the way, that's also a film where I swear there's something about a virus or something in the fucking water. And how do you stop it? Blow up the computer with a fucking grenade. I'm like, well, I don't know if that was going to really stop it. Like, you'd have to hack in and, no, blow it up with a grenade. I remember the ending as well. Like, Seagal, here's this random Asian guy who's with him, and I don't know if we even saw him before, but he becomes like apparent in this third act for some reason, and Seagal's like helping him out. And I'm like, so did they stop the virus? Is it still going to infect the water? What? It's just so mind-numbingly awful in execution, and not having his voice. Not an action scene worth a spit. You try to think about it, it just makes you go, what the hell is going on here? Pathetic and abysmal. Pathetic is a great word to describe Attack Force. Number two, Sniper Special Ops. Seagal, even though he's on the cover, he's the first name, build, he's barely in the film. He appears, and then most of the time he's sitting his fat ass down in some cubicle, either watching over a guy or something, and he's sitting more on his fat ass. And the movie is more about this other guy. I think the actor's name is Tim Abel. And I love how the DVD is like Seagal, Van Damme. I was like, no, that's not Jean-Claude Van Damme, that's Rob Van Dam. You know, the whole fucking show. Rob Van Dam's not a good actor. He's a good wrestler, but he's not a good actor. But he's doing more than Seagal in the movie. But the movie's more about them. And it's directed by Fred Olen Ray. Fred Olen Ray would be in my list of the top 10 worst directors out there. With the amount of films he's done and how very, very, very few of them are worth a shit, I mean, he would be in that top 10 worst directors. He's just awful in a variety of ways. I mean, when Sniper 2 and Sniper 3 and those Tom Berenger sequels are looking like Hard Target compared to you, that's saying a lot. Remember it being incredibly boring as well. But it's like, okay, it's a Seagal, but Seagal's even barely in the fucking film, and it's just... He's got to sit down most of the fucking time. Too much blubber. On his face, on his body, on everything. Fuck him. Why do you keep doing that? Because I don't respect the guy. I have no reason to respect him. Number 3, Against the Dark. Because you take... Okay, Seagal's going to fight vampires. Well, he does, but it's mostly about these survivors in a hospital, and you don't really give a shit about them, and they're vampires, but they're acting like zombies, and then this is like the biggest hospital in movie fucking history, because it takes them like fucking 5 hours to get through a goddamn hospital. I mean, how big is this fucking hospital? They take you this goddamn long to get through. And then once in a blue moon, it cuts to Seagal and these other people going to some vampires, and Seagal doing this with a sword. You know, just... And then finally the third act, he pops in and barely does jack all, and then some of the people get out, and Seagal and his remaining alive folks walk off to walk the earth, or whatever the fuck they do. Fuck. If you see a bit of edit, I decided to go, you know what? Sadly, I actually have these movies on DVD. And like, why? There was a time when, I want to say 10 years ago, I was really into collecting DVDs of action stars. Van Damme, Gary Daniels, like Jeff Speakman, that I could, because not much of his got on DVD, sadly. Wesley Snipes and so forth. And one of them was Steven Seagal. And thankfully, that was a time where there were websites like Go Hastings. There was one called GoHastings.com, where a lot of these movies would be like $3, $4 if you buy enough, or do it this time, it's free shipping. And the reason I keep these is because for some reason, I have this sinking feeling one day there's going to be people requesting, sending pay requests for commentaries on Steven Seagal movies. If it happens, go for it, and I'm prepared because I have Attack Force. I feel you're going to show this, so you get more of a look of what the hell this movie is. Marshall Lawson loses his strike team in a cold-blooded and seemingly random attack. He uncovers CTX Majestic, a covert military operation so secret that now the military wants Lawson eliminated to protect their secret. Drug dealing operation. Drug dealing. Not aliens, which it was. I mean, look at this fucking cover. So that's, to me, the worst Seagal film. Number 2, Sniper Special Ops. I don't think I have that one. So I wanted to show it to show you the Van Damme on the cover. They have the name, they don't, but no, it's the Ron Van Damme. This is the number 3 to me, Against the Dark. Yeah, the vampire movie where Seagal pops every once in a while with a sword, swings it a little bit, and there you go. And the reason I put this number 3 is that it's Seagal fighting vampires. There's a lot you could have done with that idea. and they do absolutely nothing with it. More than likely because Seagal and his sorry ass didn't want to do much of it. Just the thing, a lot of these movies, Seagal doesn't want to do shit. It's not because they didn't have the budget, the money. Because Seagal, he arrives late all the time. Every fucking person you talk to, yeah, he arrives late. He's late, 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 late. He doesn't care. He just doesn't give a shit. I think nowadays, at this point, people watch to just see how fucking bad these movies were. Number 4, I would say, is Kill Switch. As it says here, one of the most celebrated homicide detectives in the country. Well, don't boast too much. Violent killers on the loose and terrorizing the inner city. Again, this could have been cool. Steven Seagal going after a killer, and this killer likes to brutalize women, so you have a guy that will brutalize him. Which he does, break some bones and stuff of that nature, but once again, it's one of those films that has a fucking dubbed voice of Seagal from time to time. When it's not, he's trying to talk Cajun, or if he's trying to talk black. That's the thing with Seagal, is like, if he talks to someone who is Asian, he'll try to be Asian. If he tries to talk to someone who's black, he'll try to be black, or try to be hip. I'm like, the fuck are you doing? This also has one of the most hilarious scenes where he hits a guy out the window, and the guy flies out the window 18 times or so. At least like 8 times. Like 8 times he flies through the same goddamn window. It's one of the most confusing editing choices I've ever seen for a fucking film. Oh, there's also a point where this other, I think it's this guy here, who's like a detective partner of his. I think he's the one telling the story about this clown eating someone, and then the punchline is, "This tastes funny." Like something like stupid shit like that. So number 1, I put it. I think the worst one's the Attack Force. Number 2 is Sniper Special Ops, which I can't find. Maybe I did get rid of that one. Number 3 is Against the Dark, because you have Seagal vs. Vampires. They completely crap out on that. Kill Switch, which is laughably stupid, and some inept editing and dubbing. Like, Seagal, if you can't even do your own fucking voice, that's fucking laziness. Number 5, I put The Foreigner. And maybe there would be others that you would say is worse, but this is really when the precursor to Doom of Seagal. Because at that point, his films were not doing well. His films did well with Above the Law, Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, Out for Justice, and then Under Siege. That was his golden years. Love those films. But then films like Under Siege 2 did not do that well, even though I do like that film. The Glimmer Man bombed. I think that's an underrated one. That deserves a Blu-ray. I like The Glimmer Man. Much better version of Kill Switch, honestly, is The Glimmer Man. I like that one, but that didn't do well. On Deadly Ground, it's sad when On Deadly Ground is not even in his top 10 worst. It just isn't. It had some goofy shit, but it had some really good action scenes. At the very least, On Deadly Ground has some good action scenes. I did enjoy it for that. And then The Patriot was supposed to go in the theaters, but then it went straight to video. And then, from what I understand, all the action was taken out? I don't know if that's true. If that's the case, why the fuck would you take the action out of a Steven Seagal movie at that point? But I remember at that point thinking, man, The Patriot, this is the worst fucking Seagal film I've seen. Again, not even in the top 10, and that's how bad things went. Then he had almost a comeback with Exit Wounds, which I did like. But then he had Half Past Dead. And Half Past Dead is not a good movie, but again, Sally, not in his top 10 worst, because at least I had a bit of a budget, a little bit of spectacle. What? Compared to this? Compared to this, yes, Half Past Dead has spectacle compared to this fucking shit. And then after that, I think this was this the... This might have been the first film he did after Half Past Dead. And this is when the shit really hit the fan, as he plays Jonathan Cold. And God help me, with a lot of these direct-to-video films, I cannot remember what the fuck happened in these movies. That's why I like those first four are the primary four, because those are just very apparent what the hell happened. The Foreigner being the start of his shit in direct-to-video, being the forerunner of it, I had to put in the top 5. Because this is when I got the sinking feeling of, oh my god, I really like Seagal. What the fuck is he doing with this stuff? He's part of the CIA, that's with the FBI, that's part of the KGB, and they had the headquarters in the KFC, next to the MII and the RTRs and the CTCs and the FDAs. Don't put a BOA on this FUCK. I just... God damn it. Number 6, I put Today You Die. They thought, well, it worked with DMX, so let's put him with Treach. This is a movie that kind of rambles on, and hired to drive a delivery truck in Vegas. Picks up $20 million in cash. Can't even talk. His double-crossing cohort blasts 2 security men and then holds his gun to Banks' head, ordering him to drive. Then they just completely stole the footage from a Peter Weller film called Top of the World. Top of the World was a film directed by Sidney J. Furie, who did Iron Eagle, and Top of the World had Peter Weller from RoboCop, Dennis Hopper, may he rest in peace, Tia Carrera from Wayne's World, Terry Hayuki Tagawa, who was Shane's son in the 90s Mortal Kombat film. Yeah, a decent amount of recognizable people in that. And that was a time waster. That was a decent film. Not a great movie, but fuck, a little better than this. When you're stealing footage from that movie for this, that's fucking pathetic. And I know there was other films that they stole footage from as well. I'm trying to remember. I think it was this film. Maybe not. But there's a... Seagal does a slide, and then it's like... He's trying to do the slide on the ground, but then he's like sitting still, but his body's still going. Like, this is still body. Like, you can tell he's just being pulled. It's just so fucking like... it might have been this movie, I can't remember. Also, I find it funny with these covers, like, so many of them, there's shit not in the movie. Like, I don't even think this girl's in the movie. I don't even think there's any actual helicopters in the movie. Number 7, I put this one, Black Dawn, more like Black Yawn. Number 1, you have to do a sequel to The Foreigner. Because of all the films that needed sequels was The Foreigner. He's playing ex-CIA agent Jonathan Cole. I think he's got to be ex-CIA, ex-this, ex-mess. And look at this cover. Like, this shit never happens in the movie. There's no goddamn nuclear bomb that's set off. I mean, they tried to get a nuclear bomb, but it just... Two things I remember about this film. I remember on his dashboard, there's McDonald's wrappers. I think that's why I said in my review, this is sponsored by McDonald's. There's a bit where Seagal's waiting and he's like in a van or something, and on the dashboard is a bunch of McDonald's wrappers. I'm like, you can't write this shit. E.T. and I write this shit. And the other is that they have the bomb, and I think this does have a helicopter, because he tells the lady, open the door, drop that bitch out. Which bitch? You bitch? No, the bomb. I think they just drop into the water. Jonathan Cold. Even the name sucks for the character. So that's number 7. Number 8, thankfully I don't have this film, but I would put China Salesman. Because that's barely a Seagal film, just like that's barely a Mike Tyson film. Although Mike Tyson is probably in it more than Seagal. That's really a movie about some Asian IT tech guy sent to Africa to deal with communications. And it's this whole ordeal of communications, I forget if it was telecommunications, between North and South Africa. The fact you're basing your thriller, your action film on this communication thing, and apparently Seagal and Mike Tyson, they're like mercenaries or something. I can't remember. Seagal and Tyson have a fight, but it's pretty much Seagal doing his thing, Tyson does his thing, and then they edit that stuff together after the fact. I doubt Seagal and Tyson were ever in the same fucking room. Unless they were there for like 10 seconds. Maybe 10 seconds. Maybe, I don't know. It's been forever since, but I remember it just being a fucking boring drudge of a movie to watch. Boring drudge of a movie to watch. It's a very hard sit. I remember that being. Number 9, I put this as 3 films in one because it's all part of a goddamn trilogy no one was asking for. Force of Execution, A Good Man, and Absolution. I put these on the list because they're the most forgettable fucking films. I don't remember a goddamn thing about these fucking movies. I really don't. And there's a lot of them. I mean, End of a Gun, I could put on there. General Commander. So many of these films put on because that's the bad thing about Seagal films. He does so many of these films, and I dare someone other than McDonald's remember this film. I dare someone to sit there and tell me 3 things about this fucking film. Not A Good Man. I mean, name 3 fucking films in this. 3 fucking things in this film. Can't think of any. Cannot think of any. And they all star him as Alexander. Forced Execution, this one, Absolution. Why they thought this needed a fucking trilogy, I have no idea. No idea. Again, and if you want to know, I don't think there's any tanking shit in this movie. And number 10, I didn't know what to put. I mean, because I don't remember General Commander. I don't remember End of a Gun. I don't remember a lot of this shit. I'd have to rewatch my reviews. So, number 10, I was thinking of putting this movie on there because this is the idea of Billy Ray Lansing. The fact he's called Billy Ray is already funny enough. And then it's about him looking for his pen pal, who's a little girl. And now already it's a bit weird that this grown-ass man is pen pal is a little girl. So I was thinking of putting this in number 10. Out of reach for what, a sandwich? But I put The Perfect Weapon. Because, goddamn it, there's one perfect weapon, and it's Jeff fucking Speedman. You're not the perfect weapon. You're not even the dull weapon. You're a non-weapon. Okay? You're a loaded weapon firing blanks. It fucked up. Doesn't make sense. Neither does Seagal's career for the past 20 years. That's made little to fucking sense as well. The Perfect Weapon was a sci-fi film, It starred this guy, Johnny Mesner. I read up that apparently Dolph Lundgren was supposed to do it, but he had scheduling conflicts, so they got this guy, Johnny Mesner. Steven Seagal played a bad guy, and he was like a crime lord or something, and it takes place in the future. It's a sci-fi movie. And the director, it was an interesting interview, but I don't buy the director going, oh, yeah, we're not supposed to take this seriously. Okay, I did it because it's Seagal, but he still did a bad job with the film. It was a very lame, forgettable movie. And then Seagal dies, but he doesn't die because he was either a clone or a twin or a fake or a double or whatever the fuck he was supposed to be. And then he and his fat ass fly away like he was Dr. Eggman. Steven Seagal is Dr. Eggman from Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh my god. Oh my god, man. Also, the title of that just pissed me off. Like, there's one guy named Perfect Weapons, the one with Jess Speakman. I've got the power. Don't call yourself the Perfect. And this is so many of those movies where Seagal's barely in it. He's in it enough to put his name on the title because it sells to foreign investors, or people's like, hey, they remember liking Steven Seagal, so they're curious on what he's doing next. Or people like me that went and either bought him cheap for that, or like there's another place. I just say this was bought in 2015. How do I know that? Because it says right here it was $3. And I remember stuff, etc. It's pretty much Goodwill type of store. And this is a thing where if it went past a date, it would actually be 50% off. But you would find a lot of movies there. So a lot of times the movies would be like, okay, $3 for the collection. Because at that point, I don't think I had reviewed them. And so when I reviewed them, it was easy because I didn't have to look for them. I was like, oh, put another DVD in. And if you're to quiz me on these movies, I don't fucking know what to say because I don't fucking remember them. So, number 1 for worst, Attack Force. 2, Sniper Special Ops. 3, Against the Dark. 4, Kill Switch. 5, The Foreigner. 6, Today You Die. 7, Black Dawn, sponsored by McDonald's. 8, China Salesman. 9, The Alexander Trilogy, Force of Execution, Absolution, and A Good Man. Because, again, the most pointless trilogy. And number 10, I put The Perfect Weapon. And here's the thing. You could put an End of a Gun in there. You could put in Code of Honor with that stupid ending. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of fun. Cartels. You have a lot of shit you could put in there. That's why it was hard to pick which ones, but those ones I picked. So with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.